Good evening. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler platform, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. And it is already Thursday. It's June the 3rd, 2021. I'm excited about our chat this evening. I want to talk about something that I think strikes right where a lot of us really are. But if you're just joining for the first time, do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Make sure that you click on that thumbs up. But listen, this is the conversation question starter for this evening. It's a real doozy. I'm glad I'm here for only 1,800 seconds. So I want to start the conversation out by asking you this, and I'll tell you about what my channel's about and all that kind of stuff. But here is the question. Here is the leading question this evening. How often do you forgive yourself? Isn't it amazing that we can forgive everybody for everything? I mean, you name it, we can forgive people for it. But when it comes to forgiving ourselves, we have a little struggle with that. We find it difficult to forgive ourselves. We sometimes hold ourselves hostage for things that other people have let us out of jail for. I want to talk about that when I come right back, and I'll do it right after this. But listen, do me a favor. Go ahead, if you haven't, do a thumbs up on the conversation. Make sure that you share this with other people. Tell them Cutler is on. You all might want to just come on and let's talk to Cutler. All right, I'll be right back.
Let's talk to Cutler. Subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to Cutler.
All right, I'm back. It's Cutler here. It's June 3rd already. And you know how we do it every Tuesday and Thursday. I show up here for 1,800 seconds trying to make sure that we talk about enough stuff so that we can show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. As I always say, it doesn't mean that today was a wash, but it means that we realize that there is always room for growth, always room for improvement, always room to try to become a little bit better. That's why for the past X number of months, we spent our time reading from this book right here, Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. People have still asked me, where can I find your book? Where can I go and get that book? That is my 7th book. And again, if you don't have it, run on over to Amazon.com and pick it up. Or if you don't want to go to Amazon, you can go to my website, www.gbcutler.com and pick it up. It's www.gbcutler.com and pick it up. But I am thrilled. I'm excited about being here this evening because I want to talk about something that's pretty serious, something that sort of hits home to me, you all. I think a lot of times we can forgive everybody for everything, but we have issues forgiving ourselves. So in just a moment, I want to shout out the LTTC VIPs. Those are the people who join me over in the chat room. So come on over in the chat room so I can see what you have to say. I'll know that you're here. I know that you're talking with me because it does my heart good. So whatever space you're sharing, I wonder what space you are sharing. You know, your living room, your bedroom, your front porch, your back porch, your car, your office, your kitchen. Where are you all allowing me to share this time and space with you? I'd like to know that just out of curiosity this evening. But again, my goal is to make sure that we have an inspirational conversation, a motivational conversation, something that is going to challenge us to be better. That's why I wrote this book, because I realized that in life, we need reminders that better is inside of you. And because better is inside of you, then you can do much more than you sometimes realize. So this book helps me to remember and remind myself that, you know what, there's a little bit better inside of you. There's more to go, more to grow, more to do, more to say, more to see. So that's what we're doing. And we're picking up passengers. And if this one car becomes crowded, we're starting a caravan. We aren't leaving any passengers. So I want to thank you all for this next 1,800 seconds for just being passengers along with me. All right. I want to shout out our LTC VIPs for the evening. Let's see who's the first that I can see who looks like you all join me in the chat. A good evening to Sonia Bailey, Annie Cutler, and Wendy Del Val. I think this may be Wendy's first time. So if you all, if I'm not mistaken, if you're in the chat and you're chatting with me, go ahead and say a special hi to Wendy. All right. Say hi to K Sharp, by the way, as well. But listen, you all, if you haven't done so, do a thumbs up on the conversation. It says to YouTube, hey, I kind of like what the guy's talking about. But it says to me also that you are somewhat encouraged by our time that's spent together. So thank you so much for that. I want to put this up because just as a reminder, sometimes we can forgive everybody except for ourselves. So I want to talk about this evening, forgive yourself for failing. I want to talk about that. I also want to put that within the context of how we sometimes can hold ourselves hostage. So by the time we finish chatting this evening, I want to have empowered us to stop holding ourselves hostage and to forgive ourselves for failing. All right. Those are the two things I want to talk about. But I want to start with the quotes. You know how we do it. Every Tuesday, we read the quotes for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Every Thursday, we read the quotes for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Hey, by the way, if you get to the quote for Saturday, just share it with somebody. Do what you want to do. Start a conversation. Let it be part of your meditation. But just share it. All right. As I'm getting started, I also noticed, I think we have another first time. It may be Slice and Dyson. Hello to you. So make sure you all say a hearty hello to Slice and Dyson. All right. I want to start with our quote for June 2nd. With the quote for June 2nd. We'll just read these three, spend these 1,800 seconds together, and then you could go and do whatever you were doing or whatever you haven't had a chance to do, all right? June 2nd, the quote says this. And again, we're reading from this book, and you don't need the book to join the conversation, but if you get it, you'll find that there are quotes for every day. There are some bonus quotes. No, I am not so disillusioned as to think that every quote is for everybody, but I'm pretty confident that there's something in between these pages just for you. All right. Listen, you all, the quote for June 2nd says, sometimes the old thing that we already have is better than the new thing that we seek. Let me say that again. Sometimes the old thing that we already have is better than the new thing that we seek. Stop spending so much time looking for new revelations and new words when Jesus spent much of his ministry reminding people of what he had already said. That's the premise. That's the background. So I won't be as preachy as that anecdotal piece seems to be. But sometimes the old thing that we already have is better than the new thing that we seek. That's why I want to start with and chat about that this evening. Hello to my classmates who are joining. This quote reminds me of something that my mother says to me quite often these days. Wow, she really does say this often. Whenever I tell her that I'm going to the store to buy this, that, or the other, my mother says, stop what you're doing and look around your house because you probably already have what you're looking for. So I want to say that to you all this evening. You probably already have what you're looking for. This reminds me, y'all, that so often we're looking for things that we already have. Either that, or we're looking for something new when we haven't even tried the something old that we already have. We buy new clothes, we buy new shoes, new suits when we still have tags on some of the old ones that are hanging in our closet. Now, do I have anybody who's guilty of that? If that's you, just sort of put in the chat, say, yep, that's me. But we do that. We buy new clothes, new shoes, new outfits, all this kind of stuff when we have tags hanging on the old stuff in our closet. We buy new gadgets and devices when there are old ones that we haven't even given a chance. We look for here we go. We look for new people in our lives. We do that. We look for new people in our lives because we never looked at the value that the old ones brought. Isn't that a shame? We look for new people because we never look at the value or appreciated the value that the old ones sometimes brought. And sometimes we even look for a new day when we really don't take full advantage of the one that we currently have. How many times have you all heard people say on a Monday, I'll be glad when Friday gets here? No, it's just Monday. And people are already saying, I'll be glad when Friday gets here. We're sometimes so busy looking for the next until we forget to take advantage of the blessings of the now. So I just want to remind us this evening, don't be so focused on the next thing until you forget the now thing. There's a blessing in this moment. And it's quite possible that how you handle this moment, this hour, this day might very well determine what the next moment, the next hour, or the next day is going to look like. So I want to remind you all that there is a blessing in the now. I'm living in the now. The next will come. We're sometimes even in a quest for more when we haven't appreciated the value of the little that we have. I want to talk about me during this pandemic. Can't talk about anybody else, but I can definitely talk about me because during this pandemic, y'all, I have to be honest and say to you, I've looked I've looked at all of the shoes, the ties, the cufflinks, the watches, the suits, the clothes I haven't worn. I've looked at all of the cologne. I've looked at all of cologne that I haven't sprayed or splashed. I've looked at all of the gadgets during this pandemic that I haven't used or even bothered to turn on. And I've looked at some of the old life lessons that I still haven't mastered. I look at some of the old dreams that still haven't come true. I look at some of the old hopes that I still haven't fully realized. And I look at the old me that still has room to grow and develop and learn and become. And I realize that I've got enough old stuff that is still of substance, enough old stuff that is still of value, enough stuff that still needs to be worked on. I've got enough stuff, enough old stuff that still brings value, that still makes life worth living. I've got enough old stuff, if you want to call it old, that helps me make it from day to day. Not only do I have old stuff, but I have a day. I have a now that I could fully embrace. Why, you all? Because tomorrow will take care of itself. This says sometimes the old thing that we already have is better than the new thing that we seek. I'm content with the now that I have. Why? Because tomorrow is going to take care of itself. Don't be like the people who live on a Monday and say, I can't wait to Friday. Don't do that. Let's not be so quick to trade in the old for the new. Let's not be so quick to exchange the now for the then, because we don't know what then is going to look like, but we certainly can take advantage of the now. I just want to remind us all, let's take advantage of the now in our lives. Be thankful for the now. Be grateful for the now. Because things change on a dime. I know I'm not the only one. So many of you all have watched over these past 10, 12, 13, 14 months, watch things change on a dime. Watch people be here 1 minute and gone the next minute. Be thankful for the now. Be thankful for the now. You know, I often think sometimes about old cars and I think about that they were made of something that these new cars aren't made of. They have this, I think someone put the word, thank you, Sandy, the word durability. Because sometimes the now that I know is better than the then that I'm not so sure of. Sometimes the old stuff has the durability that I don't know what the new stuff might offer. I just don't. What am I saying about this quote? Be thankful for every now that you have. There is a blessing in every now moment. Let's not squander it. Let's not take it for granted. Let's not take advantage of it. But let's seize that moment, seize every opportunity to exist. Be present in this space and give thanks for it. All right. Listen, we are reading from and sharing quotes from Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. Just wanted to remind you all about, don't be so prone or so ready to see what's next, what's new, when we have enough stuff already. Think about that stuff during the pandemic that you didn't use, you didn't eat, you didn't turn on, you didn't watch, you didn't wear, you didn't do any of that stuff. And now you realize, oh my God, there's an abundance of what I have now. And that abundance does not always mean tangible things, but there's an abundance of peace that we can have in this moment. Why can I have peace in this moment? Because I'm not necessarily sure what the next moment is going to be like. All right. Let's not be so quick to trade in the old for the new, you all. Let's not do it. All right. And maybe I say that because I'm getting a little older. All right. Listen, I want to go into the quote for June the 3rd. And the quote for June 3rd says, religion is good when taught. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. Religion is good when taught, but it's better. It is better when lived. All right. I hope you all are enjoying our conversation, enjoying the chat. I am always delighted when I see you all show up. It makes me smile, put these big smiles on my face. So thank you all for being here. I don't take for granted when you share your space and your time with me. So thank you for that. You all do me a favor. I think we have enough. You all are blowing my mind. You all are really sharing this channel. So thank you so much for that. I think we have another first time, Nina Jeanette. You all make sure you say hi to Nina Jeanette. I'm so glad to see you in the chat this evening. Thank you so much for being with me. All right, June 3rd, the quote says, again, religion is good when taught, but better when lived. You know what this makes me think of, y'all? It makes me think of the fact that no one is going to listen to everything you say. Not your children, not your sibling, not your spouse. No one is going to listen to everything you say, but someone will watch everything you do. No one is going to listen to everything that you say. I don't care how much they love you, how much they're committed to you. No one is listening to everything you say, but someone will watch every single thing that you do. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and we were talking about how things are going to look in this post-pandemic world. And I think one of the areas where we will find this sort of change, this revolution, this revival of sorts, really honestly is the area of religion. Because I think that the past few months for me, and I'm just being transparent with you all and sharing, I think the past few months of being confined in this space has given a lot of people an opportunity to do soul searching. And I think that's a wonderful thing. We've had an opportunity to look at how can I become better? How can I become whole? And I think the more introspective people took time to do self-evaluation and even self-assessments, I really do think we did that. Excuse me. I think a lot of people sort of took a look at what works for them and what doesn't work for them. It's more than ever, the past few months help people to strip off the unnecessary layers and just get to the core of what matters. I think we did that in so many facets of life. Nikki, it's good to see you, my friend. We talked about what really matters. How do I peel off all these layers of unnecessary stuff? The pandemic has shown us that we can do that. Take off the unnecessary stuff, get to the core and the heart of what matters. And in terms of religion, I think people will now look for a very authentic form of religion. I think the dogma and the showmanship and the pageantry of religion might still have its place, you all, but to a lesser degree. That's just me. But I believe that people are looking for true spiritual connections and deep personal experiences. And so if that's you, I just want to encourage you to stay on that path and to stay on that track. I can't tell you what religion to pick and do all of that. I can only share with you that people are looking for authenticity. I think we're in an age when people are expecting that we show them what we mean and not just tell them. That's why, you all, it is so very important for us to understand our responsibilities to humanity, to the next generation. I think the pandemic has reminded us, I'm sort of, thank you all for affirming that I'm really on the right track with this thing, because I believe this in my heart. I think the pandemic has reminded us that we really are our brother and our sister's keepers. What does that say to me? That says to me, it's up to us to build community. Do you know how many people were stressed out just because they were in their homes and couldn't get to anybody? So one of the things that I've discovered is the necessity to build community, to be my brother's keeper, to be my sister's keeper. And I want to remind us that, listen, I'm telling you all, I want to remind us that we have to maintain, we have to have peace. We have to have peace. And whenever we have peace and we invite people into that space, be thankful. And we have to be wise when we invite people into our space, because guess what? I said people won't always listen to what you have to say, but people will look at everything that you do. And whenever they give us the privilege of their time, let's not engage in meaningless dialogue. Understand, we're pouring into people. We're pouring a part of ourselves into people. Religion is good when taught, but better when lived. Let's not engage in meaningless dialogue, but let's let our lives speak. Let's let our lives say something. Let's let our lives be authentic. Because I believe if we can model professionalism, if we can model business ethics, if we can model common courtesy, I think we can also model spirituality. What do y'all think about that? I think we can model it. And if people choose to follow, let them follow. If they choose not to follow, guess what? Life goes on. We can still embrace humanity. No one is going to listen to everything you say, but someone will watch every single thing that you do. I hope you all enjoyed that. That quote, again, is based on June the 3rd quote from this book right here, Billboards to Better. I want to get to our sort of pivotal piece of the conversation this evening, as I think it to be. And again, that is for this quote here, June 4th. Listen, you all. I opened the conversation this evening by asking, how many times do we forgive ourselves? Because we can forgive so many people of so many things, yet we will hold ourselves hostage. June 4th quote says this: failure doesn't have to be the finale. Failure does not have to be the finale. We've all fallen and fumbled. Let's be honest. We've all made a mess. We've all lost at something. But I don't want you to harp on your failures. I don't want you to harp on your failures. I don't want you to harp on your mess ups. I don't want you to harp on your losses. I don't want you to jump on that. Because I want to remind us to be thankful for our moments of redemption. Be thankful for our moments of redemption. We are so busy looking at how many times did I fall, how many times did I mess up, how many times did I lose, until we forget to be thankful for those moments of redemption. And I'm not just talking about spiritual redemption, y'all, but I'm talking about redemption from some of the relationships that we messed up. Redemption from some of the dreams that we turned into nightmares. Redemption from some of the opportunities that we let slip away. Redemption from some of the moments that we failed to fully embrace. So I want to remind you, don't let failure paralyze you. Don't let failure paralyze you. I wrote another book some time ago. It's called We Don't Always Get It Right the First Time. It also is over on Amazon. But I want to read you an excerpt from this book. Speaking of don't let failure paralyze you. Part of this book says, embrace failure. It is an option. A lot of times people say failure is not an option, but failure is an option. It's not one that we necessarily choose, but it's like A, B, C, D, and then you got that default E there. It's an option. You won't succeed at everything you attempt. You will arrive later than you wanted. You won't get every job you interview for. You won't have a relationship with every person you find attractive. You will finish in second place, last place, and sometimes you may not finish at all. Failure teaches you how to find the good even in what looks bad. Failure teaches strategies for strength and resilience. Whenever you fail, don't see yourself as one who failed. Rather, see yourself as one who failed, F-E-L-L. One who temporarily lost his or her footing. Then get up and keep pursuing the prize. Learn not to judge your success or failure based on other people. Set your goal for you. Why? Because when people constantly brag about being the first to do everything, don't be intimidated, even if you have never finished first, or even if you have never done the thing that they are bragging about doing. Look at it this way, you all. The person on a team of 100 who finishes first has no one to look back and cheer them on. But if you are the 100th person, there are 99 others waiting to celebrate your victory. It's just a matter of perspective. I've discovered that people who always brag about one thing are most likely lying or at least overcompensating for a deficiency elsewhere. Forget the bragging people and just make sure that you learn from your FELL failure. What am I saying to us this evening? My friends, thank you all so much for joining and tuning into this conversation, because what am I saying this evening? Failure doesn't have to be the finale, especially if you can learn to forgive yourself. Failure offers you, yes, Kay, you're right. Failure offers you an opportunity to learn the lessons. My hope and my prayer, my goal is for me, every time there is a failure, is that I will have learned the lesson. And if I don't learn the lesson, I hope that grace allows me an opportunity to face that lesson again. Because I promise you, the next time I see it at this age in my life, at this point in my life, I pray that I've gotten enough wisdom so that when I see a lesson the second time, I say, yep, I'm going to get that one. I'm going to win. And I'm going to win. Why? I said it in a conversation with someone earlier. We are going to win because we were designed to win. Don't forget that there is a winner inside of you. It does not matter what you face, what barrier is in front of you, what pothole is in front of you, what obstacle is in front of you. You were designed to win. Why do I say that? Because we are more than conquerors. Yes, we are. We are more than conquerors. I just want to remind us this evening, you all, in everything that you do in life, don't hold yourself hostage. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that life can be so traumatic for so many people, and we can forgive the rapist, we can forgive the molester, we can forgive the murderer, we can forgive the thief, we can forgive the burglar, we can forgive all of those people, and sometimes we find it difficult to forgive us. I want to offer you an offering. The offering that I extend to you this evening is the power of self-forgiveness. Take a look at the things that were holding you hostage. Take a look at how you are holding yourself hostage. Walk to a mirror, look at the mirror and say, you know what? I forgive you. There's power in self-forgiveness. And if that particular lesson is not for you, my friends, I trust that you will share that with somebody else. We never know how many people in our lives are holding themselves hostage to things that they could have released years ago. I want to say thank you all so much for joining me for these 1800 seconds. It is my hope that each time you join, there is a nugget of something that I say that propels you and compels you and challenges you to show up just a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. Today never will be or has been a wash. We didn't get everything right, but guess what? We didn't do everything wrong either. So again, thank you all for sharing this space. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm only here for 1,800 seconds, and sometimes it may be just 1,750 seconds, but I don't want to waste your time. Again, we have been reading from this book, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. They're all over on Amazon.com. Listen, I'll be here next Tuesday, but until then, do me this favor, you all. Let's keep building community. Let's keep building community and maintaining connectivity. Let's continue to be our brothers and our sisters keepers. Let's let's live in our space and our place in this thing that's called humanity. Let's keep doing that. And let's keep our heads up. But more than that, keep your hope up. Your hope says, I have expectations of whom, Cutler? Of myself. I have expectations of myself, and I'm setting my expectations high because I know that there's greatness in me. There's better in me. I'm just sharing that with you all this evening because I believe it. Then do me this favor. There is a pandemic still going on, you all. Stay safe and make sure you don't let people, situations, or things drive you crazy. Stay sane. All right. Until next Tuesday, please know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be much love. Good night, all.